On my birthday, my rich adoptive parents, the Harrisons, announced to everyone that I wasn't their real daughter because of a hospital mix up. They told me I couldn't live in their house anymore. The real daughter, Sophia, walked around proudly saying, "Chloe, the life you stole from me is finally mine again." But really, Sophia seemed like bad luck walking. I think I'm more like a bringer of good luck. The only reason the Harrisons became so wealthy was because I brought them good fortune. Now I was dragging my suitcase through the heavy rain at night, stumbling along. My feelings were all mixed up. It was supposed to be my birthday, but here I was, feeling awful, betrayed by my family and my boyfriend all at once. I'll never forget how my adoptive mom and dad hugged their real daughter today and told me, "You're not our daughter. Get out of our house." My boyfriend, Mark, was just as bad. He held on to Sophia and said, "Sophia is the one I really love. Let's break up." It felt like being hit twice, hard, and I couldn't think straight. "Chloe!" My friend Maya found me while I was thinking things over at a bus stop. She was in her pajamas driving an old beat up car. "Come on, hurry! If the rain gets worse, this old car will stop working again," Maya yelled. I snapped out of my thoughts and lifted my suitcase, which had a broken wheel, into her sputtering car. Standing outside Maya's tiny rented room, only about 20 square meters, I couldn't help but stare. No wonder Maya hadn't invited me over since her family lost their money. "Don't tell me a fancy person like you can't come into a normal person's place," Maya teased, rolling her eyes. She pushed my suitcase inside. "Stop standing there, hurry up!" I pushed down my mixed feelings and followed her in. "So, what happened? How did a rich girl like you end up kicked out?" Maya threw a clean, warm towel at my head. I quietly dried my hair, holding a warm cup, and told Maya the whole dramatic, sad story of what happened tonight. She looked shocked and uncomfortable as she listened. "Even if you're not their real kid, you lived with them for 20 years, right? They really just threw you out on the street like that?" Even I found it hard to believe, and it happened to me. It was so shocking, I hadn't even felt the sadness yet. I guess it might have something to do with how Mr. and Mrs. Harrison had always been a bit cold towards me. "Poor Chloe, what will you do now?" Maya hugged me and cried loudly. She cried more for me than she did the night her own family went bankrupt. I gently pushed her off me and gave her a small smile. "Well, since I have nothing else to do, I'll start by buying 10 lottery tickets tomorrow." Probably nobody knew this, but I've always been incredibly lucky. Every time I play the lottery, I win a lot. Good things happen to everyone who stays close to me. So, thanks to my amazing luck, I wouldn't starve. Maybe Maya thought I was still in shock. She even took a day off work to go with me to buy the lottery tickets. When I was picking numbers, she kept checking on me like a worried nurse. "Are you sure you're okay?" "Don't worry, I'm fine." I winked at Maya, telling her to relax. As the winning numbers showed up on the screen, Maya's expression changed from "Relax, dear" to "Are you serious?" 3 million? Maya gasped, stunned, her face showing pure shock. I raised an eyebrow at her. "What did I tell you?" "Just buying 10 $30,000 tickets, and I won 3 million. After paying taxes, there was still lots of money for Maya and me to start living comfortably again. The next morning, I bought another 10 tickets to keep the luck going. Maya didn't try to stop me this time. She practically cheered me on as I went. That night, when the lottery numbers were drawn, I won a huge 10 million. Maya turned into a screaming fan, making my ears ring. "Chloe, you really might be the goddess of luck reborn." I gently peeled Maya off me again and grinned. "From now on, I'll take care of you." Maya didn't argue with my big statement and hugged me tightly, happy tears running down her face. With money now, I felt calmer. I bought a large 200 square meter apartment in the city center under Maya's name. At first, she didn't want me to. "If it's under my name, the Harrison family might find out it's connected to you. You know those two are totally fake, greedy and selfish. The moment they learn you have money to buy a place, they'll come after you." I pretended to look sad and hurt for Maya, and she looked at me like she couldn't believe it. A few moments later, she put her warm hand over my eyes. "All right, stop pretending. I know you too well." 3 days later, Maya and I moved into the new place. The 200 square meter apartment on the top floor wasn't just sunny, it also had a great view overlooking the whole business area. During the day, Maya worked hard. With nothing else to do, I went out for a walk and, guess what? Ran into Sophia and Mark, who were hugging each other in public. Sophia linked her arm through Mark's and walked proudly up to me. I can't believe a horrible homewrecker like you dares to show your face to me. I sighed, stepped around her, and went into the store. The clerk who greeted customers came up quickly with a big smile. Miss Chloe, the special crocodile leather bag you ordered earlier just arrived. Are you picking it up today? That bag was supposed to be my 20th birthday present to myself. But who knew the Harrisons would pull such a trick on me, hitting me with two bad surprises at once? I almost forgot about the bag until I walked past the store today. Crocodile leather? Sophia caught up, her lips curling in a sneer, her eyes full of meanness and making fun. Are you really working at a luxury store and still can't see? Are you blind to how poor she looks? Chloe's not the rich young lady she used to be. I wasn't going to respond to her, but she kept pushing her face close to mine. Following the idea of enough is enough, I gave a small smile and pushed her face away. Sophia, don't tell me you really think getting new parents makes you suddenly classy. Also, if you don't understand what custom-made means, maybe you should keep quiet before you embarrass yourself. You! Sophia's face twisted with anger, speaking through clenched teeth. So what if it's custom-made? You're still spending my family's money, aren't you, Chloe? If you had any self-respect, you wouldn't have been kicked out and would still be using my family's money for show. Her extreme anger was boring. I yawned, not impressed. Just this. If she had asked around, she'd know I hadn't spent any of the Harrisons' money since I turned 16. What people don't know is I even secretly wired them hundreds of thousands every month, just in case they needed pocket money. I used to hide it, thinking it would hurt their pride. Looking back, that was a silly decision. Before I was born, the Harrisons were just a comfortably rich family in City B. After I arrived, they had their first big success. Mr. Harrison's small company started making huge profits within months, more than all the previous years combined. Mrs. Harrison's struggling beauty shops grew quickly, expanding to over 30 shops across the country in just 2 years. They finally had the rich life they dreamed of. Of course, they never gave me credit for these changes. They were disappointed I was a girl and would complain, sometimes openly, sometimes hinting, about how great it would be if I were a boy. I heard it so often, I almost stopped listening. Chloe, Sophia isn't wrong. You're not part of the Harrison family anymore. It would be better for everyone if you stopped spending their money, Mark said, thinking he was being helpful. He acted like a peacemaker, but was really accusing me of depending on the Harrisons for money. Sadly, in their rush to shame me, they missed the mocking looks the store staff gave them. Ms. Chloe, a warm, friendly voice interrupted the tense moment. I knew who it was by the sound and didn't bother turning around, waiting for him to come closer. While I stayed calm, Sophia reacted quickly. She glanced at me before turning unhappily to the newcomer. You must be the manager here, right? How do you manage your staff, letting just anyone in? You better get her out, or... Before Sophia could finish, the newcomer was already in front of me, praising me without even looking at her. Ms. Chloe, you look even more amazing since we last met. We're thrilled you stopped by. We all missed you so much. I looked at him slowly. You guys don't miss me. You just want stock market advice, right? David, the manager of the luxury store, gave an awkward laugh. Ah, Ms. Chloe, whether you give us advice or not, we'll always welcome you. You, Sophia exclaimed, shocked by our conversation, losing her cool. Do you all not think I matter as a customer? I'm here to spend money. Mark hurried to calm her gently. Calm down, Sophia. Let's not make a scene. Sophia's eyes filled with tears and she started crying. Mark, Chloe is bullying me. Are you just going to watch her do that? Sophia's drama was obvious. She was probably going to throw a fit. Mark, born into a middle-class family, might seem okay normally. But compared to the rich Harrisons, he was just a guy hoping to marry into wealth. Although he liked Sophia at first, he gave her up to climb the social ladder with me. But when he found out Sophia was the real rich daughter I'd been swapped with, he dumped me quickly to be with Sophia. Watching Sophia's tears, Mark looked at me with the same disappointed and blaming eyes he always had. Chloe, Sophia was just trying to be nice, don't make trouble. I know you're upset that I'm with her now, but I've told you many times, my heart was always with Sophia. Just stop trying. Me? I must have been crazy back then to like such a strange guy like him. Are you ready to jump headfirst for love again? I crossed my arms and looked coldly at Mark. He seemed totally unaware, like he couldn't hear my tone or see the clear dislike on my face. He just kept looking at me with a mistaken idea of longing. David, do you still want next month's stock market predictions? Get these two out of here. I didn't bother dealing with them. All right, Ms. Chloe. No need to get upset. I'll have them out in no time. The normally calm luxury store turned into a messy scene. Chloe, just you wait. I'm going to tell Daddy to cut off your credit card. You'll have nothing, and you deserve it, Sophia yelled, holding onto the doorframe, cursing at me. As I walked towards the VIP lounge, I stopped and turned back to meet Sophia's angry eyes. I raised an eyebrow and said just 2 words. Same to you. Don't underestimate those 2 words. Same to you. Being someone who brings luck, if I say them, the bad results seem to bounce back onto whoever said something mean to me. For example, back in 3rd grade, there was this big kid picking on everyone. When he started on me, I used my taekwondo to give him a black eye. To get back at me, he called me a name, saying I didn't have a father. I was too young to think of a good reply, so I just shouted back with a red face, "Same to you." It made me so mad I cried all night. The next day, I heard he wouldn't be coming to school anymore because of family problems. Who knew? His mom seemed so proper, but she was cheating on her husband. No wonder the kid looked nothing like his dad. They weren't even related. After that, similar things happened a few more times. As long as I said "same to you," things went badly for whoever crossed me. Sophia, now furious, and the shocked Mark were dragged out by strong security guards. David turned to me, hoping for praise. Satisfied, Miss Chloe? I shrugged without answering and, under his hopeful look, continued toward the VIP room. Glancing at the stock charts showing red and green lines, I casually mentioned a few companies. Starbright Tech, Global Pharma, Vision Holdings, and some rare metal companies. All looked like they would go up next month. Huh? David seemed doubtful. But those stocks are down right now, and I heard from people inside they won't recover for another 6 months. I raised an eyebrow at him. It's up to you. I'm just offering my advice. Believe me or don't. I started to leave. No, Miss Chloe, don't take it wrong. David hurried to keep me there. Of course I trust you. Without your amazing insights, I wouldn't have my money. Settling back into my seat, I tapped on the table. David quickly understood. White tea, coming right up. The fragrant white tea was soon served. It wasn't the most expensive tea, but since it was my favorite, David prepared it just for me. David came in with the tea, his usual cheerful self. So, same as before. Profits split 50-50. Ms. Chloe, not trying to be nosy, but, what's the situation with you and the Harrisons? Setting down my cup, David hesitated, curious. I chuckled, tracing a circle on the cup with my finger. This clever guy probably wanted to know who to treat nicely. When the Harrisons came in, should he treat them like family or just regular customers? See, he's an experienced luxury store manager. Finishing my tea, I raised an eyebrow. From the start, you shouldn't have treated them so well. David immediately gave a knowing nod. All right, Miss Chloe, I know what to do. Though David was just a store manager, he knew people all over the city. And I also asked him to tell other store managers and staff. Starting today, the Harrisons' special treatment in luxury stores was going to end. And that was just the beginning. Eventually, I got that little crocodile leather bag. Ms. Chloe has helped me so much over the years. A bag is the least I could do. David paid for it himself and handed it to me. Of course, I didn't refuse. Without so-called family support, in some people's limited view, This bag might as well be proof of my status now. Take care, Ms. Chloe. David saw me out of the store. The next day, news spread, and several wealthy families contacted me. The Harrisons never realized my luck abilities because they were both foolish and arrogant. But still, over the years, the Harrisons' strangely smooth success had made some people curious. Since 5 years ago, I knew some people in the city had been looking into them, trying to find their secret to good fortune. Soon enough, some connected their success to me being there. I went along with it and became a secret advisor for a few public companies. Ms. Chloe, we were hoping to treat you to dinner. Do you have time today? The phone rang. It was a secretary from one of the companies. But I had already promised Maya dinner, so I politely said no. Can't do it. Gotta have dinner with my best friend tonight. All right, I'll ask again another day. The secretary's disappointed voice hung up respectfully. I got a few more calls later and used the same excuse for all of them. Rejected all sorts of requests from quite a few people. What I needed to do now was just wait and choose the best partner from all these interested people. Chloe! Maya came home surprisingly early today and even brought back a cake. Even though your birthday was a few days ago, it's never too late for cake, right? Oh, it's definitely not too late. I took the cake and asked her, what happened today that put you in such a good mood? The smile Maya had been holding back burst out. She hugged me tightly. Chloe, I got a promotion and a raise. Remember I told you I worked day and night on that project proposal? It was purposely held back at the company because some people didn't like me. Guess what, though? She leaned her head on my shoulder, whispering excitedly. Turns out, my proposal accidentally got sent to the big boss along with other papers. When the department manager called me to see the boss, everyone thought I was in trouble. Instead, the boss praised my work and gave me a promotion and a raise. Maya, who had a mark on her cheek from smiling so much, suddenly sat up, staring at me seriously. I was confused, about to ask, but she hugged me tight again. Hey, Maya shouted loudly in my ear. Even without any proof, I'm sure it's my lucky charm Chloe who blessed me. I laughed and gently removed her arms. It was your talent that grabbed the opportunity when luck arrived. Maya thought for a moment, then agreed. You're right, I'm just that good. Since Maya's promotion and raise, my lucky charm effect seemed to get stronger. After her promotion, sales under Maya's leadership shot up. She met her yearly goals 3 months early. The boss was thrilled and promoted Maya to department manager. As for the old manager who disliked her, Maya said, Chloe, you should have seen his face turning red and angry, like he was about to explode. Chloe, you're my lucky charm. Maya was so happy, her voice practically sang. I gladly accepted her compliments. Just as she finished speaking, my phone rang. Seeing the name on the screen, I hid my smile. I need to take this call. I excused myself, phone in hand, and went to the balcony. Closing the balcony door, I picked up the constantly ringing phone. Chloe! Mr. Harrison barked the moment I answered, and I could just picture his furious face. Is this mess at the company you're doing? Holding the phone, my gaze went far away, remembering the day I was kicked out of the Harrison house. Does payback for betrayal really come this quickly? Sophia, hugged by the Harrisons, wore a sweet look that hid her mean thoughts. Chloe, we did a DNA test. Sophia is our daughter. Mr. Harrison looked at me without any fatherly warmth. Mrs. Harrison clung to Sophia crying, never looking at me once. And then there was Mark, who stood behind them like a guard, glaring at me. Chloe, let's break up. I've always loved Sophia. Watching their dramatic performance, the scene was so ridiculous I almost clapped. I looked at each of their faces until my eyes landed back on Mr. Harrison. So you're cutting all ties with me? Chloe, Sophia protested, tears filling her eyes, slowly moving towards me. I'm not here to ruin anything. I just want to be part of the family. Me? Honestly, even if they hadn't said anything, I wouldn't want to stay there another second. Chloe, I know you never liked me because of Mark, but I never wanted to take anything from you, not Mark or Mom and Dad. I can leave the house, even the city, if you don't want to see me. Sure, go ahead. And just never show up in front of me again. I interrupted her bluntly, confirming it. Sophia was speechless, her face slowly freezing like spilled paint. What nonsense are you talking? Mr. Harrison stormed up, slapping me across the face. Holding my quickly swelling cheek, I smirked at him. Damn, that really hurt. Consider it payment for raising me. Sophia is our daughter. You stole her life and now you shamelessly want to kick her out? Do you have any conscience? Exactly. Mrs. Harrison was crying on Sophia's shoulder. Chloe, we have Sophia now. You no longer belong here. Pack up and leave now. My cheek hurt like 1,000 needles. Taking a deep breath, I looked at this furious couple. Even though I'd sensed early on they didn't care much for me, their quick turn against me was shocking. Your belongings have already been packed. Mrs. Harrison nodded to Mark, who quickly brought a suitcase. We spent 20 years together. We can at least give you a few clothes. I laughed. So, to her, 20 years of a mother-daughter bond were worth just a few clothes? One should always be grateful your birth parents died years ago. Without us, who knows where you'd be? Mrs. Harrison lectured. Don't be ungrateful. All right. I didn't wait for her to say more and just agreed right away. As soon as I did, I saw the 4 people across from me let out a big sigh of relief. Especially Sophia and Mark. If they could have, they probably would have celebrated with drums and fireworks. I glanced at my suitcase, walked straight to the couch, and sat down elegantly under their stunned looks. Since we're not family anymore, let's settle the money owed properly. Money? What money? Mr. Harrison's face turned blue with anger as he clenched his teeth. I smirked a bit. Mr. Harrison, you really have a bad memory. I'm talking about all the money I transferred to you and your wife's account over the years. If I remember correctly, what I gave you is much more than the cost of raising me, by at least 10 times. Since we're no longer family, shouldn't you pay me back? Otherwise, people might think you can't let go of that little bit of spending money. What money? You're talking nonsense, Mrs. Harrison shouted immediately, and Mr. Harrison didn't seem eager to agree either. I shrugged. Doesn't matter if you don't admit it. There's a record with the bank. I don't mind making it public, but I'm afraid you two might not be able to handle the embarrassment. Bang! Mr. Harrison, with his short temper, smashed a nearby glass. Ungrateful brat! If we'd known you had no conscience after finding out you aren't our real child, we should have kicked you out back then and let you die outside. I wasn't there to argue with him, so I just pulled up the bank transfer history and gave them the total amount, $30 million. You can pay it all at once or in smaller payments. Mr. Harrison choked for a moment, his eyes staring like a fish out of water, gasping before he could speak. Sophia glared at me with hatred, like she wanted to hurt me badly. As for Mark, after hearing the Harrisons owed me $30 million, he only paused for a second before quickly changing his expression, oddly looking at me with some kind of deep feeling. Gross. If you can't get the money right now, I can give you a week. If the money isn't in my account by then, who knows how many people these transaction screenshots will reach. With that, I didn't bother speaking to this selfish, fake group of people any longer. I grabbed the suitcase they kindly packed for me and left the Harrisons' villa without looking back. All that was left behind was noise and anger. The memory of Mr. Harrison's angry shouts merged with the frantic questions in my phone call now, becoming one. Chloe, don't forget you're a part of the Harrison family, Mr. Harrison hissed through clenched teeth. I chuckled casually. Mr. Harrison, aren't you and Mrs. Harrison the ones who kicked me out? The person on the other side took a deep breath, holding back a lot of anger. As long as you're on the family records, you're tied to the Harrison family. A college girl like you without family support, you think anyone will care about you? I just had tea with the CEO of Starbright yesterday. If you're curious, Mr. Harrison, why not call and ask? The Starbright Group, in terms of size and history, was much bigger than the Harrison Group. Over the past few years, Mr. Harrison had tried to connect with Starbright several times, only to be rejected every time. He couldn't even meet the CEO, Mr. Chen, or his secretary. You know Mr. Chen? Mr. Harrison sounded excited and naturally ordered me. Then contact Mr. Chen right now. I have a project to work on with Starbright. If you can make it happen, I might allow you to come home. Allow me home? Are you misunderstanding something? I couldn't help but laugh. Mr. Harrison, should I remind you about something? 30 million. Chloe! Mr. Harrison's voice was filled with useless anger. I brushed him off with a few short answers and left the phone on the balcony, heading back into the living room. Let him shout there all he wants. Actually, I didn't do anything to Mr. Harrison directly. Without my good luck charm protecting him, the small but numerous problems inside the Harrison Company gradually started showing up. Not enough to destroy it instantly, but enough to cause Mr. Harrison a big headache. Chloe? Maya sat down comfortably beside me, looking at me hopefully. I glanced at her and asked, "What is it?" Maya rubbed her hands together, her eyes sparkling. "I have to go on a business trip tomorrow to talk with a really tough client. Do you think I'll succeed?" "Don't worry, you'll definitely succeed," I assured her. Maya cheered. "Then I'll treat you to a big meal when I get back if everything goes well." The next morning, Maya dashed out with her suitcase to catch her flight like a whirlwind. As I was getting ready to leave, rapid knocking came from the door. Before I could get to it, the person outside shouted, "Chloe, I know you're inside. Open the door. You thankless child, we raised you, and you're going to stab us in the back? Play dirty tricks? You're not our blood, and you're really heartless. Luckily, we've taken Sophia back. Otherwise, you'd have destroyed us." Mrs. Harrison screamed outside like she had lost her mind. I remembered her being overly worried about appearances. She even made me kneel and apologize publicly once just to please some wealthy woman. Standing by the door, I dialed Mr. Harrison's number. "What?" His impatient voice answered. I placed the phone against the door so he could hear his wife's yelling clearly. "If you can't get her to leave within 2 minutes, I'll see you at the police station." "Chloe, she's your mother, for God's sake!" Mr. Harrison was yelling loudly. I smirked, ignoring him completely. "You have 2 minutes?" Crazy Mrs. Harrison had been called back by Mr. Harrison. That got me out smoothly. I caught a cab to Apex Group's headquarters to meet Mr. Chen. If it hadn't been for one word from Chloe 2 years ago, my wife and son would have taken a different trip, and I'd probably be separated from them by now. Mr. Chen looked at me with thanks. Even 2 years later, he was still emotional when talking about it. I shook my head, smiling. "You're too kind." Mr. Chen pushed aside his feelings and said, "I pretty much know what's going on with the Harrison family. If there's anything I can do, just say the word and don't hold back." "Mr. Chen, you've misunderstood," I said, meeting his eyes. "What I'm here for today has nothing to do with the Harrison family." I told him in detail about my plan to work with him. I wanted to do my part to get Apex Group to the top. "As for the Harrisons," I added, "I'll handle it myself. No need to trouble you." Mr. Chen looked curiously at me and after a moment burst into laughter. "You sure are something else." After finalizing the cooperation details with Mr. Chen, I left Apex HQ. Just as I was about to step outside, Mr. Harrison and Mark came rushing toward me. "Chloe!" The moment Mark saw me, he stopped, staring deeply at me, even looking like he wanted to come closer. I couldn't help but roll my eyes and silently hoped he'd trip and fall, and then, as if I'd wished it, Mark stumbled, landing flat on the ground like a pancake. I swear I didn't mean to laugh, but it was just too funny. Mr. Harrison gave Mark a dark look before noticing my laughter. "You jinx, a bad seed. If it weren't for your tricks, the company wouldn't be where it is today," he spat, glaring at me. I grinned, thinking about the future of the Harrison family ending up homeless. "You kicked me out, and by doing that, you lost all your good fortune and are even feeling the bad effects now." "Mr. Harrison, when your company goes broke and your whole family is homeless, I'll make sure to congratulate you personally." "You!" Mr. Harrison glared at me, practically shaking with anger. Funny thing, it was their choice to kick me out, and now they're calling me ungrateful. Talk about double standards. "You always knew deep down that all your success was because of me, but you didn't want to admit it, so then came Sophia. You couldn't wait to kick me out to prove your achievements were all your own, right?" I stared right at Mr. Harrison, not missing the quick look of guilt in his eyes. "Nonsense. Sophia is my daughter. Am I supposed to let her suffer outside? Chloe, how could you be so cruel?" I chuckled. Mr. Harrison, hasn't the company been facing a lot of issues since I left, and none that you or your son in law can solve? His face stiffened, and about 10 seconds later, he put on his loving father act, even with teary eyes. Chloe, I never wanted to disown you. I just wanted to teach you a lesson so you wouldn't be so stubborn. His act was truly impressive. He and Sophia were quite a pair, weren't they? Chloe, come home. Your mom and I miss you. We can be a family. 3 million. Cutting off his fake feelings, I stated flatly. Mr. Harrison was taken aback, momentarily speechless. Mark, following Mr. Harrison's lead, spoke up. Chloe, how can you talk to Mr. Harrison like that? His family is facing all sorts of trouble. If you stop causing problems, I'm sure they'll welcome you back. I took a deep breath, wondering yet again what I ever saw in him. This way, come on, guys. I nodded toward a group of security guards watching the drama unfold and signaled for them to escort the two out. You! How dare you! As Mr. Harrison was dragged out, he screamed, but I just stood there watching the show. Suddenly, a voice spoke beside me. And they had the nerve to discuss business with me? I turned to see Mr. Chen grinning. I like your style, Chloe. Ever thought about being my daughter-in-law? Huh? Daughter-in-law? Mr. Chen, don't drive home tonight. Take public transportation. Bus, subway, cab, anything's fine. I noticed Mr. Chen's usually bright face seemed a little off today. Hmm? Mr. Chen looked puzzled for a moment, then chuckled and said, Thanks for the heads up, Chloe. After Mr. Chen's warm invitation to his home, I stepped out of the Apex building. Turns out my feeling was spot on. Harrison Group's stock started plummeting fast, and multiple businesses under it were facing issues like money problems, operational troubles, and poor product quality. In less than a week, about 70% of Harrison's over 30 businesses across the country went bankrupt. Thanks to my warning, Apex Group quickly bought up those failed businesses. Even though they had shut down with the right management, they could recover quickly. From when trouble began at Harrison Group to when they were about to go bankrupt, it took less than a month. The timing of my departure from the Harrison family was perfect. Rumors about me being Lady Luck were spreading like crazy. Chloe, even my boss was asking about you today. Maya gave me the latest news as soon as she got off work, speaking with a mysterious tone. I raised an eyebrow at her. And what did you tell him? Maya instantly looked smug. I told him I didn't know you, of course. Our boss can be unpredictably generous, but mostly he's cheap. There's no way I'm letting Lady Luck fall into his hands. Just hoping he doesn't start making life difficult for me over this. Maya sighed dramatically and flopped onto the couch. I chuckled and reassured her. Don't worry, with Lady Luck watching your back, it definitely won't be you paying the price. Oh, darling Chloe, I just love you so much. 3 days later, I heard that the Harrison Group had gone bankrupt. Not only were the company's assets frozen, but the mansion where I'd lived for 20 years was also being auctioned off. Since I had said I'd join them for a celebration, I figured I might as well show up. The car stopped in front of the Harrison residence, and as soon as I opened the door, I heard shouting coming from inside the mansion. Sounded like Mr. Harrison. Mrs. Harrison, Sophia, and Mark were all in there. Looks like I was about to see quite the drama today. This is all your fault. If we hadn't taken you back, how could my company have gone bankrupt? Mr. Harrison roared, immediately followed by a loud smack. The next second, I could hear Sophia screaming and yelling curses. First you called Chloe a jinx, now I'm the jinx. Don't you think you're completely blameless? Sophia, dropping her quiet and obedient act, was now yelling at the top of her lungs at Mr. Harrison. You promised that once Chloe was gone, I'd live like a princess and all your money would be mine. And look at us now. Sophia, being someone who only cared about money, had only played the obedient daughter because it helped her. Now that the Harrison family was bankrupt and she couldn't get anything from them, she dropped the act. Sophia, Mrs. Harrison's shocked voice rang out. Sophia, when your father and I first found you, didn't you say you wanted to come with us regardless of whether we had money? You're the Harrisons, for goodness sake. You've been on TV so many times and done so many interviews. As if I wouldn't recognize you? I said those things to make you feel guilty. Can't believe you guys believed it. Just from her tone, I could picture Sophia rolling her eyes. You brat! Is that how you talk to your father? The shouting inside turned into physical fights once again. Mark, you're just gonna stand there while this jerk hits me? Get over here and help! To prevent anyone from getting seriously hurt, I called the cops and rang the doorbell. Ding dong. The doorbell interrupted the fighting inside. After a few minutes, footsteps came to the door. The door swung open, showing Mrs. Harrison looking tired and messy. She stared at me for a long time, unable to say my name. Long time no see, Mrs. Harrison. Saying that, I stepped past her and walked into the trashed living room. The house staff had all quit, leaving just those four with their selfish plans. Chloe! Sophia screamed, her eyes red with anger. The Harrisons are bankrupt. Are you happy now? I ignored her and turned to Mr. Harrison, who had been glaring sharp daggers at me since I walked in. Mr. Harrison, I warned you. Refusing that $3 million would lead to disaster. Why didn't you believe me? My previous advice never led you wrong. Mr. Harrison was panting heavily, his eyes so red they looked like they might bleed. I raised you, and you're still this cruel, he growled. Your skills have always been weak, and you're a control freak. The only reason the Harrison Company ever got this big was pure luck. And it's funny how you thought it was all your doing. I plopped down in a clean chair, quite pleased with myself. Mr. Harrison, already furious from Sophia's behavior, looked like he might have a heart attack. The Harrisons were caught up in bitterness, but Mark shuffled over to me. Chloe, being with Sophia made me realize you're the one I truly love. I know you can't get over me. Don't worry. I forgive your past unreasonable actions and am willing to give us another chance. With that, Mark tried to grab my hand. What was wrong with him? I quickly dodged his hand and slapped him hard across the face. Get out! Mark stood there stunned, with no idea how to react. Chloe, you witch! Trying to steal Mark again? I'll kill you! Mark's sudden confession completely broke Sophia, who was already barely holding it together. Her eyes filled with hate as she glared at me, but just as she was about to charge, she slipped and crashed face first onto the floor. My face. Lisa fell, her face cut by broken glass, and screamed like an animal caught in a trap. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison were still fighting over some jewelry, and Mark was just standing there stunned, not moving at all. These people who should have loved her most? They all abandoned her at the same time. The police arrived quickly. Seeing Sophia's condition, they stopped the Harrisons from fighting and called an ambulance for Sophia. A cop asked me what my connection to the family was, and I told him honestly, just a neighbor. I heard the noise this morning and worried something bad might happen, so I called the police. Turns out I was right. The cop asked me a few more questions before taking everyone back to the station. As I left the Harrison house, I got a call from David. Ms. Chloe, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. Shengxing Pharma and those rare metals hit the limit. He sounded so excited. He must have made a lot of money. I've already transferred the money to your account, same split as before. When you have time, please let me know. I'd love to treat you to a meal. Sure, I agreed, and listened to him praise me effusively before hanging up. Just as I pocketed my phone, I got a text about the money deposit. Seeing all those zeros, I happily put away my phone and headed home. As soon as I got home, I got another call, this time from Mr. Chen at Apex. The project you mentioned is moving forward. If it goes well, the first profit can reach $500 million. Mr. Chen's kind voice came through the phone. I raised an eyebrow and chuckled. Don't worry, Mr. Chen. With me on the team, it'll definitely go smoothly. Then I'll count on your success, Miss Chloe. Mr. Chen laughed. I was about to hang up when Mr. Chen added, Oh, my wife asked about you this morning. She insisted on inviting you to our place. What do you say? Since he was being so thoughtful, I couldn't say no. You two set the time, and I'll be there for sure. The next evening, I drove to Mr. Chen's mansion. As soon as I parked, I saw his wife waiting at the door and a tall, handsome young man standing behind her. Suddenly, I understood why the Chens were so eager to have me over. Chloe! Mr. Chen's wife hurried over and grabbed my hand. I told you my son is good looking, but you didn't believe me. See for yourself now. She went on about her son's accomplishments, saying he could both manage a company and cook. He's definitely boyfriend material. With a polite smile, I shook hands with Alex due to Mrs. Chen's insistence. I thought he'd be unwilling about the setup, but surprisingly, he took the lead after our handshake. I've heard a lot about you, Miss Chloe. Meeting you confirms it all, he said. His eyes, shining like stars, caught me by surprise. Mrs. Chen's laughter brought me back. Is that from Mr. and Mrs. Chen? Alex smiled and shook his head. No, it's from your friend Maya, who's now the head of our sales department. So you're the owner of Nova Tech? I rarely felt surprised, but I looked again at Alex, who nodded. This was the same boss Maya described as cheap and cold-hearted. Quite different. Thinking of surprising Maya, I decided to give Alex a chance and see how things went. 2 years later, I hadn't really kept up with the Harrisons' news, just occasionally heard small bits here and there. A week after the Harrison Group went bankrupt, Mr. and Mrs. Harrison jumped off their skyscraper, ending up as unrecognizable messes no one wanted to look at. Sophia, having ruined her looks, was dumped by Mark, who only wanted to marry rich. After spending the Harrisons' remaining money on cosmetic surgery, she ended up supported by several wealthy men. Living carelessly, she caught a disease and lived life like the Walking Dead. You could say karma caught up with her, just as she'd wished it upon me back then. As for Mark, I heard he got involved with a wealthy older woman, but after her sons found out, they beat him so badly he couldn't walk. After getting together with Alex and with my unique support, Apex Group and Novatech became industry leaders nationally and internationally. Meanwhile, I climbed to the top of the world's richest list by age 22, thanks to profits from both companies and several others. Eventually, a mysterious organization recruited me because of my special abilities, giving me a stable government job. Since then, my name hasn't appeared in business circles,